Alright, hello and welcome everyone. This is Comp, or Jeff, depending on where you're seeing this from. I'm sharing a lot of videos with friends as well as uploading to YouTube, so a lot of people don't even know I have a YouTube channel, but either way, I'm going to show you guys today a way that you can potentially increase the amount of Pokemon you catch, as well as speed it up. Make it more accurate to find Pokemon, and it's using what you see here on the screen, which is an app called Ingress. This is mainly for people that are in rural areas as opposed to urban areas, because in urban areas we have a ton of Pokemon that we can find and a lot of stops and gyms and stuff, so it's pretty easy to find them in that scenario. But out in the country it can be a little bit more difficult, and you may be looking for a way to figure it out. You may just be interested in how these things are spawning and how these things are determined, and we know that. So let's look here and go over to Pokemon itself, and I'm going to show you exactly what's going on. Ingress portals were converted, most of them were converted to PokeStops and gyms, and those things were based on whatever, like monuments or whatever inside towns and stuff, and people that made this game are using the same type of areas. As you can see, this is a PokeStop, and it is the Morganton Clock Tower. That's where we're at. Alright, so if we back out of that and go into Ingress, you will see that I am actually at a portal in Ingress, and the portal is also the Morganton Clock. And if you look back, I can't look back right now, but either way, you can see that this is the same type of area. I'm in the exact same location. There's a lot of other stuff going on here on the map, but all of the PokeStops that are in Morganton are portals in Ingress. Not all portals in Ingress are PokeStops, but so that gives you an idea of how that kind of works. So that's how portals affect where PokeStops got to be put at. That's how PokeStops were chosen by the game developer. So, or the program itself, how it's choosing where what goes. Alright, so more importantly though, you'll notice all these little bitty white dots. Now these white dots are XM generation, and what that is cellular usage. That's how those things are determined and why they're on the screen. There's tons of little bitty white dots. I have no idea what they do in Ingress. I don't play Ingress, but Pokemon spawn points are linked to XM generation inside of Ingress. So what you're essentially looking at here on the screen when we see all these little white dots are Pokemon spawn points. Which is pretty important in itself, because if you live in an urban area, and let me try to zoom out here real quick. That's the wrong direction there. Once I zoom out here, you'll see top of the map up here. Oh, come on. Zoom out. There we go. Up here at the top of the map, we see an area that's outside the city, and you see very little cell phone usage up in this area. But you see some here in this little area right here. So, although it doesn't technically mean that no Pokemon spawn up here, what it does mean is that this area right here is more likely to have more Pokemon. And that means that if you live in a rural area, that you'll be able to potentially pull up Ingress and go to locations out in the country that you may not be able to, you may not have thought of, or you may not just be aware of how these things are working. And you can go to these more concentrated areas out in your communities and find more Pokemon and stuff. And obviously, since these things are based on cellular usage, you're not likely to be in the middle of some gorge, like the Linville Gorge, which is near the city. You're not going to end up in the Linville Gorge looking for Pokemon because of this system. It's based on cellular usage. Now, another way that you could potentially use this is if you were in a less populated area than I am here, there'd be way less dots around you. And if you had on your Pokemon screen, your little thing down here telling you how far things are away and what's near you, you could potentially use those dots, and people are claiming that this is what they're doing. We have 1 foot, 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet. This is how far away the Pokemon are from you. So if we only had like 3 things on here, and we had 1 foot, and a 2 foot, and a 3 foot, then technically we could go into Ingress and pull this up if you were running both apps at the same time, and there would be some Pokemon spawn points around you, and the one that's furthest away would most likely be where you're going to find that third foot and help you actually find Pokemon faster. I haven't tested this exclusively myself, but I've done a ton of reading on it, and it definitely all makes sense, and it all kind of correlates together with the fact that Ingress portals are connected and XM generation is how spawn points are determined. So that all kind of goes together and makes sense that what people are saying is using this process to find Pokemon is a viable option, and it's especially useful for people who live up here in, like I said, a rural area, which is why I made this video, because a lot of the people that I know and we're doing this right now do live in rural areas. One thing to take into consideration is that if you're going to actually use it to find things up close to you, that's going to require you to keep Ingress up the entire time. If you're only going to find it to find locations within your neighborhoods, then you could just pull Ingress up until you get to the spot and then open up your Pokemon. Or if you got a good phone and a good battery, you're in the car, driving, whatever, you could be able to keep them both up at the same time. Whether your phone can handle both apps running and how well the apps sleep and type of things like that may affect the performance of your phone and things like that. But either way, this is something that may be useful to a number of people, and I thought I would share it with people, and I'll definitely be trying it out myself. So take it easy. Let me know if you have any questions. This is Jeff, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.